Hey team, board this week is why you can't compare yourself with others in the gym. Really good topic to talk about, I think, because we all come from different walks of life and we're all completely human in sometimes looking at someone else training and being like, oh wow, wish that I could do what they do. And we tend to forget that everybody's got a different backstory, and that different backstory will really determine how you train now. Doesn't mean that that's the way you're going to train forever. Everyone is at their own, their own level in how long they've been doing, classes for. And someone who's been here for years is going to be a lot more adept and equipped than someone who's only been here for a couple of months, which is totally okay. So it's just a little reminder to yourselves about how comparing is just not helpful, but also how it actually just doesn't make any sense. So I'm hoping that the board this week will really help you guys kind of, take a step back, look at it and be like, oh yeah, actually it's totally right. It's really hard to compare yourself with someone who is completely different to you. I've got 5 different people, different case studies. I won't read all of them because you guys will just get bored. But if you're in this week, have a have a read and just, see what you think. But there's a couple of different points which will then change, how we train here. So, how you trained as a kid is a really a big one. What did you grow up doing? Was it sport that encouraged lots of power? Was it, sports or hobbies that encouraged lots of strength or muscular endurance? Was it something that, helped you build really good aerobic capacity? Was it something where maybe you avoided doing strength training because you didn't need to? How were you raised as a kid? Does that change, what your parents' beliefs were? Does that change how you then choose to train here? What skills did you build on? Did something like a hobby that you did it give you good reflexes? Did it make you hypermobile or really flexible? Or what's another one? Did it give you good body awareness? All those sorts of things. So, the next time we kind of compare ourselves in the gym, we can kind of stop and think about what someone's backstory is. A couple of examples from here. I've got one person, Evan, and I've put that he's a rock climber. What do rock climbers do? They do lots of vertical pull. So he's probably going to be pretty good at pull-ups. And then I've got someone over here, Jess, who danced as a kid, so never really did any overhead pull. It was a lot of body weight work. She's looking at Evan in a class going, man, I wish I could pull up like Evan does. That's so unfair. But she doesn't know that Evan's a rock climber and all his, he's really, really strong in his overhead pull pattern. So that's why it wouldn't be really healthy for her to compare herself. Likewise with that, I've got as a point under Evan, he doesn't train legs at all. Okay, so if Evan doesn't train legs, he might not have great mobility in his hips. He might not have very good body awareness in regards to how he should be squatting or deadlifting. But then Evan goes and looks at Tim in a lift class and goes, man, Tim's so good at lifting. I wish that I could back squat like him, man. I'm so weak, I can't. But Tim's an experienced CrossFitter and he also gymmed in high school with his mates. So he knows how to do lifting really well, and because he's built such a tolerance to load, he can also lift really heavy. So that's why it'd be super unhelpful for poor Evan to compare himself to Tim. Another one would be, Tim might look at Josh and go, far out, Josh can run around the block so fast and I can't run that fast. That's really frustrating. But Josh is a marathon runner. And he's also built for running because he's got a long torso, long legs, limb length. Whereas Tim is a little bit stockier, he's got broad shoulders, and he's maybe not as built anatomy-wise. Does that make sense? He's not built in an anatomy regard to running as well as Josh is. Doesn't mean that Tim can't get good at running in his realm, but maybe it just means that he can't compare himself to Josh on a block run. So I really hope that this kind of puts things into perspective for you guys. If you ever find yourself a little bit caught up in, longing after someone else's skill set, just remind yourself, everyone literally has these dot points under them for what walks of life we come from, and that's what's made us strong and who we are. So it's just why it's so unhelpful to compare performance, and we actually can't do that because there's just so many variables.